Otis became the brawler of the ring, and the depths of the sea became a place for fighting. Now the ring has become even bigger and it couldn't please the audience. And there are even more brawlers. But because of some circumstances, some brawlers weren't happy. It never happens that everyone is happy, because everyone has their own problems and worries. And so Octo Fang had one concern, and this concern was Edgar, or rather the doctor, whom he once very cruelly lost. It couldn't give rest to the fighter, because he considered himself the strongest in the ring. But Dr. Edgar just destroyed his ego, brought him down from heaven, and Fang was disgraced in front of the whole ring. After all, Janet was able to defeat Edgar, and he was not. So Fang's days passed. He went to battle every day and did everything to become stronger and forget past grievances. And at some point he almost forgot all this, as one day the Council of Brawlers, by the way, which now consists of other brawlers, he didn't change for a long time because of any problems. But now this is a new composition that decided to hold a tournament in the ring. The council wanted to find out who is the strongest guy from the brawlers. The winner will receive the title of the strongest male brawler in the ring and a cash reward of $50,000. After learning about such a tournament, Fang of course ran to enroll in it. Janet's notes were printed. Fang came there and signed up as a participant. He asked if Edgar was registered as a participant. Janet looked and said that there was no name for him. This really angered Fang. He needed him to sign up. The fighter said that he would come here again and that ours is gone. Colette told Edgar about the contest and said that the guy must participate in it. $50,000 is a huge amount. He has to win. Edgar didn't really want to participate in this tournament. He wasn't chasing anything, but Colette insisted on his participation, although it didn't really help. A day later, Fang came back to Janet and asked if Edgar has signed up. She said no, he probably wasn't going to participate. This really upset Fang, because he came to the gift shop and told Edgar to sign up for the tournament. He replied that it was not for Fang to decide what he should do, and then Fang attacked Edgar, but Colette stood in front of them and told them to stay together. After this, Edgar was obliged to sign up, because otherwise he would look like a coward. Edgar told him that they would decide everything on the battlefield, after which Fang left. There was one day left before the start of the tournament. Brock, Carl, Colt, El Primo, Frank, Leon, Edgar, and of course Fang had already signed up there. The rest didn't want to take part and will be spectators of the tournament. 8 fighters, and randomly each will choose an opponent. Fang rested the day before the tournament. He relaxed his muscles to show everyone what he was capable of tomorrow. Edgar and Colette were also at home. Colette supported her boyfriend and believed in his victory. She also believed that on the first day of the tournament, Edgar will not get caught against Fang. The next day, many brawlers gathered in the desert, because this is where the first battle for the strongest fighter of the ring will take place. All the participants stood in fear, because no one knew who and against whom they will fight. Crow was appointed the main one. He already knew who and against whom he would fight. One name. Brock. The first fighter, Brock, appeared on the huge screen. He stood in the middle to start the fight. And the second name was Carl. Oh my god, this is going to be a fight. Edgar and Fang exhaled. Not them. They stood in the middle of the field and the crow began to count. 1, 2, 3. Brock immediately fired the first rocket, from which Carl safely dodged. Brock fired another rocket. Carl threw his pickaxe. He dodged and attacked the rocket again and hit Carl. My god, his arm broke. but he was not going to give up. Brock fired a mountain of rockets. Carl ran away as best he could and managed to hide. All the brawlers were at a loss, whether Carl had time or not. Brock didn't see him. He was firing rockets wherever he looked in the hope of finding him. But while he was doing it, Carl was quietly following the sounds. Brock's rockets ran out. He needed to recharge as a pickaxe flew into him from behind and threw him to the ground. The rocket launcher fell in the distance. Carl threw the pickaxe once again. Brock somehow dodged and ran after the rocket. Carl began to spin at lightning speed, attacking Brock, who took the rocket launcher, but it was empty, and Carl struck a crushing blow. Brock lost consciousness. Carl won the fight with one hand. He surprised the whole arena. No one expected him to win. Crow congratulated him on his victory. That's enough for Carl for today. After fixing his hand, he is back in line. Crow told everyone to look at the screen. There will be 2 fights now. And the first name there was Fang. Oh my god, Fang started to get very worried. It is really a fight with Edgar? And the second name was Frank. They both came to the place. Fang was worried. Before the start of the battle, he closed his eyes and prayed to the Lord, asked him for help to win. Crow began to count. 1, 2, 3. Fang immediately ran at Frank. What is he doing? Frank hit with his hammer and the wave threw Fang away. It hurt him, but he wanted to get up when Frank jumped on him and started hitting him with a hammer for all his strength. What is he doing? Stop the fight! Crow immediately stopped the fight, but it was too late. Frank was covered in blood. Crow said that Frank would be disqualified for this. He almost killed the fighter. All the brawlers were terrified. We urgently need to help him. Pam came and set up her healing turret to prevent Fang from dying. He underestimated Frank and was almost killed. Besides Pam, Poco also came and tried to do everything so that Fang wouldn't die. Edgar was very scared. He didn't want this. We need to take him to the hospital.